Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Today, let's talk about the Momo challenge and media manipulation. Alright, so today I'm a little bit sluggish and tired because in the wee hours of this morning, somebody in my household had a nightmare about the Momo challenge. Now, if you've been watching the news at all, you've probably heard of the Momo challenge. It's that face that comes up on YouTube videos that are directed towards little kids, like Fortnite videos or Peppa Pig videos, and it tells the little kids to do bodily harm or suicidal things like leave the oven door open. And it's been going crazy because everyone's been really panicking about it, and it's been on local news stories. And even the school, my kids' school, sent a email saying, watch out for this Momo challenge, talk to your kids, make sure they know all about it. But the funny thing about it is that it was proven a few days ago, or probably even before that, that the whole thing is a hoax, right? There was a really good BBC News article talking about how it's basically spread through WhatsApp and chat, and it's spread so far through blogs and media, picked up on local news. And you could track it all down to patient zero, the first person who started talking about this type of things, and nothing's ever happened with it, which is really, it's fascinating the way that it works. I first heard about it last week when one of the people on my team who's helping with the YouTube, he said, Eric, can you please do a video about the Momo challenge because it's really trending right now? And it was the first I heard of it, so I started reading the news articles about it, and I thought, this is awful. I can't believe this is happening. Why would somebody do this to little kids? The same thing, the same reaction everybody has probably. And then it was like the next day where I found out I saw the news article about it being a hoax and all that kind of stuff. And I went back to him and said, no, it's a hoax. And he said, no, I think it's real. And then everyone else in the team said, no, so we all researched it. And it's funny how it's spread that way, where you could actually point to news stories about how it goes. Now, the reason I think it's interesting is because a couple years ago, I read a book, actually it was an Audible audiobook by Ryan Holiday called Trust Me, I'm Lying, Confessions of a Media Manipulator, right? And in it, he talks about how in a previous job, he was able to manipulate the media, to spread rumors, to start false stories by just putting things in like local blogs, in certain blogs, and they would be picked up by larger news websites that are looking for clicks, and those would run viral, and it would go to national news sites, and eventually you'd have something that would spread even though there was nothing true about it in the beginning, but it kind of sounded like it could be true, and it was the kind of thing where it was panicking. That was the really cool thing about the Momo challenge, is the kind of thing you couldn't ignore. You're thinking, we all must be vigilant, and it sounded like it was so terrible that you had to sit up and pay attention to it, and then it spread and it spread and it spread. And once I found out it was a hoax, I thought about that book by Ryan Holiday, and that's one of the things about the world we live in that, I mean, as app developers, we know how difficult it is to get ad clicks. We put ads in our applications. We have to have loads of impressions. We have to have people downloading our apps, hopefully clicking on the ads, but not too much because we want them to stay in our app or game, right? And it's difficult as app developers to make an income, but man, imagine what it's like for news websites who make no revenue at all, and they need the clickbait, and they need people coming through, and they need the clicks, and the more sensational something sounds, the more it will go, and that's how this whole thing took off, right? And it was just, it's the world that we live in that kind of stuff happens. And because of it, I lost a couple hours sleep, but anyway, it reminds me of a lot of things that do spread because they sound so terrible. I can remember working at one of the investment banks I worked in. Somebody has sent an email around saying, hey, make sure all your friends know this, but if you're driving through London and you see a car at night with its headlights off, do not flash it because gangs in London are driving around with their headlights off, and the first people to flash at them, they will run them off the road, rob them, kill them, murder them, whatever. It was different stories for different times, right? And that would circulate. Everyone would send it to their friends until somebody replied to it saying, hey, this is a hoax. On this website, it shows that it's all over the place. And apparently it's an urban legend all over the world. In the large cities, they would spread this kind of story. But that would spread too, because it was the kind of thing that you had to keep passing on, right? I can remember after 9/11, an email newsletter kept going out, or an email viral thing went about how Nostradamus had predicted 9/11, and they'd taken some Nostradamus quotes and they added certain things in it, like the twins will fall and things like that, and how it will lead to the end of the world. And I can remember a lot of people really panicking about that until you find a website that it's a hoax. So anyway, the reason I wanted to talk about it is just because when we look at these kind of stories, it's not so much the story it is, so like, and everybody's using it for their reactions and their clickbait and everything like that. But the interesting thing about it is just the state of the media at the moment, the state of the economy that we're in, where everything is driven off ads, everything is free, and this kind of stuff happens because those websites that need the clicks, they need the panic, they need you to go in there so that they can survive. Eventually this is all going to implode on itself, right? I don't see how we could go any other way. And we're kind of the same as app developers who rely on ads. At some point, advertisers may stop using those ads in applications, and we may not make the same kind of revenue that we did, and we have to start looking towards in-app purchases and stuff like that. So, but anyway, it's been a lot. It's just been, I've heard about it from all corners. I've heard it from the kids' school this week. I've heard it from my kids. I've heard it from my team. I've heard it on the news, and it's all just, you know, it's interesting. So let me know what you guys think. Have you heard about it for wherever you guys are living? Have you heard about it from your schools, and is it as viral there as it was there? Because I was Googling it, and it's been around since like mid last year, but it all seems to have culminated this week, over at least here in the UK. So anyway, let me know if you guys have had any experience with that. Anyway, that is it for today. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.